Do these look similar to you? Well, they might look similar, but they're definitely not. One's worth 30 cents a pound more, and I'm gonna show you why. In my hand, I have two different types of brass. I have yellow brass, and I have red brass, which could also be known as bronze. When we sort our brass at our scrapyard, we have lots of different buckets and bins. While you may not have a setup at home like we do, you could certainly mimic it with 5-gallon buckets and even a table. So let me show you what we do. We have a table full of different pieces of brass, and what we try to do is figure out how to sort and separate these so we can make the most money. Now, this is customer's material, and what you see here is a yellow brass product. In here, you're gonna see yellow brass, and you can tell just by the pure color. Inside, sometimes there's gonna be small contaminants. You can see this magnet will be able to go in, and it sticks to little pieces of steel that might be in it. These are the tools that we use every time when we sort our brass versus our bronze. We have a pair of cutters, we have a wrench to be able to take things off, we have a file to see if it's yellow or red brass, we have an adjustable wrench for larger pieces, we have a flathead screwdriver, a Phillips head screwdriver, and because our table is bigger, we have a couple of tools just to rake things down and bring them closer to us. Other tools that we use 55-gallon drums. This is something where you could use a 5-gallon bucket because you're probably not going to have as much weight as a scrapyard would. By having a few 5-gallon buckets, now you can start to sort your brass and make more money with it. First thing that I'm going to do when I take the two pieces from the beginning of the video is I'm going to take this file, one of the best tools, and you're probably going to be able to get these for free when you do clean out services, and I'm going to scratch this. After I scratch it, it gives me a nice mark, and it has a very yellow color in it. Another shortcut to save yourself time, sometimes you can look inside, and where there were threads, you can see what the raw material looked like. Now I'm gonna take this other piece. It looks like it's brass. You could have cut a little more copper off, but I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna scratch right into it, and you can hear it scratches harder, right? So this is gonna be a little different than the yellow brass. This is actually bronze, and I know it's not always easy to see those color differences. This piece has more copper in it. Now, if you're looking to make more money on your material, this is the way to do it. You can upgrade so many pieces of your brass into a red bronze, and this piece is going to be worth 30 cents a pound more than your regular yellow brass, but only if it's clean. Here you can see a box that we're starting to sort. We have clean bronze inside, a water meter, a couple of elbows, old sprinkler head, and we can sell this as a red brass because of the copper content. Now here you see we have larger pieces of brass, and these are the pieces that we're going to use those tools on. You're going to see a stainless steel hose that's attached to a piece of brass. This is the bin that needs to have mechanical work done, and we throw all the pieces in. This way we can separate it and then work on it once we're ready to. Now, I was talking about 5-gallon buckets before. These are my 55-gallon drums, and inside here, we sort things like yellow brass pipe, red brass pipe, and how can you tell the difference? Well, it's all on the color. These are much easier to see. You can see the yellow versus the red, and when you look at the ends, you can see the same thing. So this is just what we do, but another tool that we use, we sort the copper out of the brass because sometimes there's little pieces that are in there, and that's where you really want to spend your time sorting your material. When you have a brass table or you sort your brass on the ground and you have your bucket, you're able to reach in, not hurt your back, and look for areas of problems. So this is a problem area. You have a steel handle, you know that by just sticking the magnet to it, and that's where when you have a tool, you can take this and start to take it apart. And it doesn't take a lot of effort, but now you can take that off. This will be a clean piece of yellow brass, and this piece of steel that the scrapyard may have downgraded you for is no longer a problem. You throw that in your yellow brass, you throw the steel in a steel bucket. So when you're gonna look for things that have handles on them, you wanna be able to take these off, and look, this is even a brass screw. But now you took this piece off, another piece of clean yellow brass. Now with all different types of brasses out there, it's nice to have a good idea what's available, but this is a piece that we look for to be able to upgrade. You have a piece of plastic attached to a piece of brass attached to a piece of copper. Now this is something where we'll cut the copper and the plastic off, and we'll be able to make more money on that. And by having different bins to throw them into, you try to touch things as few times as possible. The more you touch things, the more time you spend, the more money you spend, because your time is worth money, scrappers, all the stuff that you do. So that's why when we do our setup here, we do it early in the morning. This way it's set up all day, so if we get taken away, our setup is still here. But this is a setup that you could easily mimic in your house. Look for things that are easy just by looking at the color. Another idea that you can have is having those buckets and writing on the inside, so it says yellow brass, red brass, so when you're sorting things, you can throw them into all the right spots. Now, scrapyards look for contaminants. Scrapyard's job is to look for problems when buying material, and when you start to take things apart, you're going to learn about problems like this one right here. This is a nozzle. Water came out however form it was, but look what's inside. Plastic hoses with stainless steel braid around it. This scrapyard is not going to want to buy this as a clean yellow brass because of this contaminants inside. So you throw that into your bin to separate, take the garbage out, and now you have clean products. While you look and try to figure out what the difference is, use this video and use these tools to be able to help you set up, separate, and sort your brass, and this will become one of the best ways for you to make money inside of the scrap world.